To really understand this story, you need to know a little about trespassing laws in my country. Simply put, we don't have many. As long as you're respectful and don't cause damage, you're free to explore the hills, set up camp, even pitch a tent on any beach. The only rule? Leave it as you found it. As a kid, I absolutely loved camping. My family went several times a year, usually with a big group of my parents' friends and their kids, about 10 of us on average. It was always a bit of a logistical challenge because we went to this one specific remote beach on the coast. We weren't the only ones who knew about it. There were always yachts bobbing just offshore and other tents scattered along the beach. It was mostly families, often with teenagers or younger kids. No wild parties, more of an informal, quiet holiday spot. The local council had even installed a small building with public toilets and showers, probably tired of people peeing in the bushes. This particular trip happened in the spring of 2011. I know that because I'd just adopted my dog, Parmesan, a few months earlier in the winter. I picked her out from the shelter in November as a birthday gift to myself. She was 6 months old, rescued from a dog-fighting situation. We weren't sure of her exact breed, but I always guessed she was part lurcher, part staffy. Despite her rough start, Parmesan was incredibly sweet with people, and most dogs too. But if you threatened her, she'd react, fiercely. This was her first camping trip. None of the usual family friends could make it that year, so it was just me, my sister, and our parents. I didn't mind. I wasn't especially close to the other kids. I preferred playing with my dog, and I still had my sister. The drive took about 6 hours. We left later than usual, I don't remember why, so we arrived just as the sun was setting. Normally by that time, we'd see campfires dotting the beach, other campers already set up. But this time, the beach was completely empty. Still, my parents started unloading the car and setting up the tent. They asked my sister and me to grab a few of the lighter bags from the boot while they fumbled with a flashlight in the fading light. I rolled the car window down a bit for Parmesan. It was warmer than usual, and I wanted her to have some air. Always looking out for my furry little homie. It was quiet. Too quiet. The beach, the darkness, the isolation. It gave the whole place a weird vibe. There was only one road in, shaped like a loop with a bridge, circling the beach like a big zero. I wasn't paying much attention, mostly complaining about being tired, like any kid would. But my mom was watching. About 15 minutes into setting up the tent, she asked, "Has that car gone around a few times now?" My dad brushed it off. That's just how he is. A few minutes later, a car pulled up right next to ours. A man got out. He was maybe 15 or 20 feet from us, and with the low light, it was hard to see, until he got close enough for the flashlight beam to catch him. He was staggering, clearly drunk, maybe high, and in his hand was a knife. At least 15 inches long, though I was young, so maybe my sense of scale was off. I've never been close to my dad, but I'll give him credit. The moment he saw that knife, he stood up, grabbed the camping mallet, and put himself between us and the man. The guy started yelling that we couldn't camp there, said he was just letting us know. My dad tried to de-escalate, said we'd pack up and leave, but the man kept getting closer, still shouting, louder, more aggressive. My sister and I started crying. I remember shaking. I was terrified, certain that this man was going to kill my dad, and then us. Honestly, I didn't think my mom would even run if something happened. She's always prioritized her relationship with my dad over everything, even us. But that's not how it went. Out of nowhere, like a shadow launched from the night, Parmesan came flying at him. She clamped down on his arm, hard, tore through his jacket and into his skin. He screamed, dropping the knife as it was in the arm she bit. He kicked, punched, did everything he could to get her off. Eventually, she let go. He scrambled, grabbed the knife from the sand, and bolted back to his car. Parmesan didn't chase. She came back to us, her muzzle covered in blood. We were all stunned, but we moved fast. Packed up what we could, shoved everything back into the car. I checked Parmesan. She was okay. But the window was rolled down way more than I'd left it. It was a manual crank window, and we figured she must have put her paws up, pushed it down far enough to squeeze out. We didn't feel safe sleeping in the car, and hotels wouldn't take a dog. So my parents decided to drive home that night. First, though, we had to get petrol. We reached the nearest town and found a station. It looked closed. My dad pulled up to check the sign, leaning out the window. "What are you doing?" Mom asked. "I'm trying to see when it opens," he replied. And then, from the shadows, a voice. "Never." My stomach dropped. There, parked just behind a van, was the man with the knife, sitting on the bonnet of his car, cleaning his bleeding arm with some tissue paper. My dad didn't hesitate. He drove off immediately. Problem was, the next town was 60 miles away, and we didn't have that much petrol. We figured worst case, we'd break down and call for roadside assistance. Still better than staying anywhere near that man. But 5 minutes into the drive, headlights flashed behind us. It was him. He was following us. Those next 30 minutes were some of the worst of my life. Silent panic filled the car. The radio was off to conserve fuel. I could tell my parents were trying to keep it together, not scare us more. But we weren't little kids. We understood how serious this was. He followed us for 55 miles. We were running on fumes. The petrol gauge had been on empty for the last 10 miles when he finally turned off onto another road. We reached a petrol station, barely. Filled up the tank, drove the rest of the way home. My sister and I fell asleep in the back seat. I only woke up once we pulled into our driveway, overwhelmed with relief. Later that day, after some rest, my mom called the non-emergency police line. She reported everything. The woman on the line said the man matched the description of someone wanted in connection with a murder. But we never heard anything back. What's the takeaway? Well, don't trust isolated beaches, and never underestimate a dog's instincts. Parmesan is still with us, old now, grizzled. One of Mom's friends jokes she looks like a little lion. I don't know what went through her head that night, but I know she saved us. This was a dog born into fear and abuse, overlooked at the shelter while her mother and siblings were adopted out. But when it mattered most, she protected the people who gave her a second chance. They say don't trust a person who doesn't like dogs, and always trust a dog who doesn't like a person. I paid £78 for her adoption fee. That might be the best money I've ever spent. Please adopt. You might save a life, and one day they might save yours.